The joke that broke the stars. Humans had many ways of coping with fear. Some prayed, some fought, and some, like me, made jokes of the worst possible moment. I was standing in the hall of celestial judgment, a structure so vast it made Earth's grandest cathedrals look like storage sheds. The ceiling curved into infinity, layered with translucent energy fields that shimmered with the colors of distant stars. Gravity was lighter here, deliberately calibrated so no single species would feel fully at home. At the center of the whole stood Queen Velrith of the Phyrexian Dominion. She was taller than any human, her obsidian armor grown rather than forged, flowing seamlessly over her form like living stone. Bioluminescent veins glowed faintly along her arms and neck, pulsing in rhythm with a heart that had ruled empire for over 4 centuries. Her eyes, full of them, fixed on me, a single human engineer, unarmed, unimportant. Also the galaxy thought. "You are accused," Velrith said, her voice resonating directly inside my skull, "of sabotaging a royal warframe. Speak your defense." Every ambassador in the chamber leaned back, some literally recoiling. The Phyrexians did not accuse lightly. Their justice was efficient. Terminal. I swallowed and raised my hands. "With respect, Your Majesty," I said, forcing my voice steady. "I didn't sabotage your armor. I fixed it." A murmur rippled across the chamber. Phyrexian armor was sacred, bonded to its wearer at birth. Only royal symbiotes were permitted to interact with it. Touching it without permission was considered an act of intimacy or war. Velrith stepped closer. The floor trembled beneath her feet. "You presume much, human." "I presume survival," I replied. "Your warframe's phase coupler was misaligned. Another battle and it would have ruptured, taken you with it." Silence. Then Velrith raised her arm. The armor parted slightly, revealing a scar of scorched biometal, exactly where I'd repaired it. The chamber erupted into chaos. "How dare!" "Impossible." A human touched the queen. Velrith raised one clawed hand. Absolute silence followed. Her gaze never left mine. "You claim you saved my life," she said slowly. "Yes, Your Majesty." "And if I find this to be deception?" "Then," I said, exhaustion and adrenaline finally cracking my composure, "I suppose you can execute me or marry me, whichever tradition you prefer." The words slipped out before my brain could stop them. A joke. A nervous, stupid, human joke. For 3 full seconds, the galaxies stopped breathing. Then Queen Velrith straightened. "Very well," she said. "I accept." When the galaxy panicked, pandemonium didn't begin immediately. First came disbelief. The translation matrices hesitated, recalculating. Diplomatic AIS flash warning sigils. Species whose cultures relied on pheromonal communication released panic signals without realizing it. Then the meaning settled. Queen Velrith of the Phyrexian Dominion had accepted a marriage proposal. From a human, I laughed weakly. "Your Majesty, I was joking." Her eyes narrowed. "There's no word for joke in my language," she said. "There's only intent and consequence." My knees nearly gave out. The Phyrexians were not a romantic species. Marriage among them was a political fusion, a merging of lineages, fleets, and genetic legacies. For their queen to accept was not personal. It was galactic. Within minutes, emergency channels ignited across the hall. Ambassadors shouted. Security drones activated. Several species demanded immediate recess, while others quietly prepared evacuation protocols. A human marrying the Phyrexian queen meant one thing. Earth would become untouchable, or a battlefield. I was escorted, not imprisoned, but honored, to a containment suite the size of a city block. Phyrexian attendants monitored me constantly, not with suspicion, but curiosity. Velrith visited me that night. Without armor, Her natural form was still imposing, but softer in ways her war frame concealed. She regarded me for a long time before speaking. "You feared death," she said, "so you spoke defiance." "Humans do that," I replied. "Sometimes it works." She tilted her head. "You touched my armor without permission. That act alone bound you to me under Dominion law." I stared at her. No one mentioned that. "They would not," she said calmly. "They hoped you would die." I thought of Earth, of politicians who'd sent me here as a technician, never expecting me to survive first contact with royalty. "What do you want from me?" I asked. Veilrith stepped closer. "You repaired my armor," she said. "You did not seek favor. You did not beg. You joked because you believed yourself powerless." She placed one clawed hand over her chest. "In Phyrexian culture, that is courage." Over the following cycles, the galaxy unraveled. Trade routes froze. Military alliances recalculated. Species that had warred with the Phyrexians for centuries suddenly sued for peace, terrified of provoking a queen now allied with unpredictable humans. Earth's governments panicked. They sent envoys, threats, apologies, congratulations. None of it mattered. The wedding was set, and I realized something terrifying. Queen Veilrith wasn't using me. She was choosing me, a crown forged in choice. The wedding ceremony took place above a dead star, its collapsed core stabilized by Phyrexian gravity engines. Billions watched across the galaxy. I stood beside Veilrith, wearing a hybrid ceremonial suit, human fabric interwoven with living Phyrexian biometal. The crown she placed on my head was not a symbol of rule. It was a symbol of bond. "Do you accept this union?" the herald intoned, "knowing it will reshape the balance of all known space?" I glanced at Veilrith, at the queen who could have executed me, but instead had listened, at the galaxy that feared her, and the human she had chosen to stand beside. "I accept," I said. The moment the bond sealed, something extraordinary happened. The star behind us flared, briefly reigniting. Phyrexian scholars would later argue over the cause for decades. Some called it coincidence. Others, myth. Veilrith simply smiled. In the years that followed, war declined. Not vanished, but paused. The galaxy had expected domination. Instead, it got negotiation. As consort, I had no armies, no fleets, but I had perspective, human stubbornness, and the ability to say things others feared to say. When asked once why she had truly accepted my joke, Veilrith answered publicly. He did not ask to rule me. He did not kneel. He spoke as an equal when he believed himself nothing. She turned to me then, and the galaxy froze because it realized power does not always announce itself with a weapon. Sometimes, it arrives disguised as a joke. End of story.